out there.
I know. You recognize me, right? But this story is not about me. Well, not entirely. This story is about a simple toy and how its unique properties ushered in a new era of creativity for a whole generation.
Lego.
It's a creative tool.
It's a way that people are expressing themselves.
It's creating energy.
It's a language.
There is an adult fan community.
Geeks, weirdos, people like me.
It's not what's on the front of the box. You can actually create whatever you want out of this toy.
We saw a great potential of combining Lego and computers.
I wanted to create a Lego architecture.
Shot-for-shot remakes of famous films.
Well, that was a look at the new documentary, a Lego Brickumentary. Joining us now, the co-directors of the film, Daniel Jung and Kief Davidson. And given the disparate works that both of you documentary filmmakers have been involved with, a lot of stuff off the front pages of our lives, especially from the continent of Africa, plights of refugees and everything like that. Why Legos?
Well, I guess in a way, why not Lego? Indeed, we've done more serious films, and this was an opportunity for us to do something fun, actually a film that our families could watch. And you know, the phenomenon of Lego right now is so massive, it was almost impossible to avoid. We were given an opportunity to make this film and just had a great time making it, and we hope audiences have a great time watching.
Talk about the massive impact of Legos. You know, I think many people probably think Legos, okay, you're 5 years old, you're playing with Legos, but it goes beyond that.
Sure. I mean, the impact is enormous. I mean, you think about Lego pieces that you could have bought in the 1950s, you could still integrate with pieces today. It's a very versatile system, and I think it's a system that people of all ages are embracing. It's not just kids. In the film, we focus on adult fans of Legos. People that have lost, they call it the Dark Ages, which is the period from when you stop playing with Legos and then you bring them back again all these years later. It's a creative tool, and it's a way for people to learn about science and explore an artistic side that they may not have developed as much as they like.
What is the history of Legos? Who invented the Lego?
Well, every country wants to appropriate Legos, but it's in fact a Danish company. It's a Danish toy company that really moved to this system of plastic interlocking bricks in the 50s. And as David said, it's really, you know, it really hasn't changed since then.
But that's a really rare example of, I mean, we're in this technology overload society. This is a product that is basically exactly the same. The technology is the way those things interlock, and that hasn't changed at all. And yet the company has evolved and done, you know, the technology has changed in bigger ways, I guess, the creations and everything. I mean, in what ways has it changed?
Well, in some ways, the company didn't recognize this huge fan base that had grown up around it, a fan base that we profile in the film, a very fervent fan base. And so, in fact, the company had some difficult times about 10 years ago. It's hard to believe that because it's the #1 toy company in the world now. But what they did is they turned around and they acknowledged the audience that was doing all this stuff with this so-called toy that they didn't expect, and they've embraced that, and I think that's part of their success now.
What about the implementation? The idea of doing a documentary on Legos. I mean, did you guys come up with it together? Did someone come to you up, you know, on Sunset Boulevard and say, hey, you guys are this documentary? How about doing a documentary on Legos instead of Africa?
Sure, yeah. Well, the idea came from, initially from one of our producers who approached Daniel. Then Daniel approached me. It was an enormous project. Can you imagine, like, the responsibility of doing a film about Lego? We want to make the Lego diehard fans happy. We want, first and foremost, to make families happy. You know, this is a film, and I think we've been successful at it, that a 10-year-old and a 40-year-old could go and really enjoy.
There are tons of kids' toys where you build stuff. What is the magic? Is it the interlocking? Is it the way the pieces feel in the hand?
It is. It's the interlocking. It's this system they called clutch power, which is that system of two bricks, the studs and tubes that could come together.
And click apart. We know that click.
Exactly.
What's the biggest, craziest thing that you've seen made out of Legos?
Well, we follow in the film the building of the largest Lego creation ever, which was the life-size X-Wing revealed here in Times Square. So we follow the making of that. It was actually made in the Czech Republic. And we follow the reveal in Times Square. It's pretty amazing.
There's also a great build from a woman builder named Alice Finch, who builds this enormous set on Rivendell. Amazing, amazing. It just goes on forever.
Who knew? Lego. Great stuff. A Lego Brickumentary. It's in theaters. It's in iTunes. You can go on iTunes, get it on demand. Friday, July 31st. Kief Davidson, Daniel Jungi, thanks very much. And thanks for bringing Lego to our attention. We appreciate it. Up next.